the so-called marquee election commitment, will cost $4.7 billion over 4 years. Should the taxpayer be paying for paid parental leave for families earning $350,000 when we're swimming in debt? But the government boasts about these extravagances. Yes, trimming the cost of medicines under the PBS, well done. Adding more fee-free TAFE places, well done, we need the skills. But a Labor government stands in the National Parliament and tells the Australian worker that inflation outpaced wages by 3.5 percentage points last financial year, and the worker will see real earnings slip another 2 percentage points this year. So I suppose Labor have kept their promise that only Labor has a plan to get wages moving. They just didn't tell us they'd be moving backwards. And then there are the electricity costs and the gas costs. What has Dr. Chalmers got to say about all of that? Well, the cheerful campaign promise to cut the household power bills is in disarray. The man who made the promise, along with his leader, stood in the Parliament last night and forecast a whopping 20% rise in electricity prices this year and 30% the following year. Gas prices up 20% in both years. No apology, just excuses. Not a word from anyone in the Labor Party or the Labor government about the real issue. At some point, as I warned last night, this Labor government is going to have to assess its green ambitions. This economy is being propped up by the resource industry. The Albanese government, egged on by the crossbenchers and some in the opposition, want to demonise fossil fuels. I say it again. The green ambitions of these people are unachievable, but worse, unaffordable. When the incompetent Energy Minister Bowen said on Monday that he was embracing, quote, the biggest economic transformation our country has seen since the war, he was right. He is destroying our economy. 82% of electricity to be produced by zero emissions technologies by 2030. That will mean, he said on Monday, putting 60 million solar panels on roofs between now and 2030, 8 years' time. That's as many as have gone up in the last 10 years. And then 40 wind turbines a month, one a day. We demonise our fossil fuel resources, but export them so that other countries can be energy rich. I made that point last night. These resource golden eggs have been laid by coal and oil and gas for years and have made our nation wealthy because we've got more of them than the rest of the world. Resource exports this financial year, $450 billion. Coal, $120 billion. Have a look at these debt and deficit figures and the interest we're paying on debt. And how do we handle this double whammy with the impossible cost of shifting to renewables and the unconscionable loss of the revenue from fossil fuels? Yet this budget, the Treasurer tells us, delivers, quote, on the priorities of the Australian people. Well, Jim Chalmers, they might have been the priorities of the 32% who voted for you, but they're not mine, and they're not the priorities of millions of others. The doom and gloom you preached last night can be alleviated almost entirely by abandoning your government's absurd energy policy. Millions of Australians aren't prepared to go over the economic cliff with you and your ideological zealots.